Today, we explore Forest Lawn Cemetery in Buffalo, New York on Tomwashere. Hello out there, wherever you are. As for me, I am in Buffalo, New York, and I'm in Forest Lawn Cemetery. Now, I've had people ask me before, what's the deal with cemeteries? Like, why, cemeteries, some people find it, like, macabre or, unsettling to think about death. But when you think about history, true history, what's more historical than a cemetery? I mean, these people that are interred here, they have, they all have stories to tell, and a few of them are more notable ones in history. And, I'm going, and cemeteries, just walking around sometimes can be a beautiful place. And Forest Lawn here in Buffalo has some amazing tributes and gravesites and mausoleums. And basically what I'm going to do is check around and see some of the more notable ones. So let's go take a journey and check it out. And the thing about Forest Lawn is, it is an older cemetery, and there, a long history here. This is Red Jacket, died at Buffalo Creek, January 20th, 1830. He was 78, erected by the Buffalo Historical Society in 1890. And look at that. Like, that's right in the front here. And it's just, that's incredible. I see the people are leaving pennies and stuff like that. That's just an incredible, that's like that's something you'd see in like a park or like a monument. Look at all those chickens. No, there's actually quite a bit. Hopefully they don't chase me. I wanted to showcase this burial plot here, and actually includes plots that you can still buy, was designed by Lloyd Wright. A burial facing the open sky, the whole could not fail of noble effect. Lloyd Wright, architect, 1928. Now, this wasn't actually finished for a considerable amount of time. In fact, I think it was only finished like in the last 10 years. But he designed this. And it is, as far as the lake, there's a lake back there, or pond, I guess you could say. Not really a lake, but a pond. And just nice, no trees obstructing it or anything. Just really nice. Now, I had an argument with someone that if you are a famous person and you are being buried, and, people that will be coming to cemeteries, sometimes 100 years from now or 200 years from now, there's certain famous grave sites that are just someone's name, or, that just, here's your born date, here's your dead date, and not what you say contributed to society. But there are those special ones of certain people that, who are famous, that they had a grave site that really wasn't able to encapsulate all they did, but one of those that you would take notice to if you were walking through a cemetery. And arguably, one of the most famous of these grave sites is the one, the only, Rick James. Now, Rick James, for his many hit songs and everything, but more recently, in the last years of his life, he was actually famous for his contribution to Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories on Chappelle's Show. And I do appreciate a grave marker that encapsulates everything for that. I had it all, I've done it all, I've seen it all. It's all about love. God is love. August 6, 2004. Wow. But yeah, that's a gravestone right there. Like, that's one that, it doesn't necessarily say, hey, here's all these hit songs I had, but the impression is that, has a picture of him with a giant guitar. Yeah, it's a solid gravestone. People leave various dice, a pick, some pennies, rocks, pins, a Buffalo Bills mask for some reason. I mean, it's Buffalo after all, but there he is. Man, the myth, the legend, Rick James. I know there's like a raging debate of some people that are like, even if you're famous, fans and people shouldn't say visit your graves. I don't subscribe to that. If you're, for Rick James as someone who has a stone like that, they want you to visit that stone. I mean, it's something that that shows he was there. And, obviously people that like desecrate things or people even that kiss Marilyn Monroe's grave may be taking it a step too far, but if you're just there to pay your respects to someone who entertains you in life, I say that's okay. But that's just me. Some cases it's more than, say, like a mausoleum or a tomb. It's basically like an art piece. Like, that's the only way you can describe this one as. And it's, there's a whole lot going on here. I mean, there was some time and effort that was put into this tomb. I mean, look at that. Like, if you saw that in, say, like a public park or a museum or something like that, you wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there was effort. Most of that stuff, my guess, had to be chiseled. Wow. And it has like a little stone couch that you can sit here and pay respects. 1825 to 1911, John Blocher. I think that might mean that a funeral's coming through, perhaps. Yeah, this was a mausoleum that John actually made for his son. So what this is that that is John and his wife kind of looking over the funeral of their son. And yeah, it's definitely one of the more unique grave sites, I would say, of any cemetery anywhere. These statues represent Mr. and Mrs. John Blocher, standing beside their only child who died following a year's illness. The statue above is imaginative. The tomb is beneath the floor of the monument. So the tomb of, I guess, Mr. and Mrs. Blocher and their son is under here. But yeah, that's considering the time of the grave sites, which was, 1800s, 1880, there's a lot of intricacy there. In Forest Lawn, among as many people interred and residents, is the 13th president of the United States, Millard Fillmore. Now, old Millard was not supposed to be president at all. His predecessor died in office, and he took over the reins, and his main thing that he had come up with, his main claim to fame in office, was to come up with a compromise. The North wanted to get rid of slavery, the South wanted to keep slavery, and he found a compromise between them, which, even with politics today, when you compromise on something and not everybody gets what they want, both sides are upset. So Millard never got another nomination, took over. He was, I believe, a one-term president, and this here is the gravesite of the 13th president of the United States. Now, I've been to other presidential grave sites, like William McKinley, for example. Now, William McKinley was assassinated and was a president that, was maybe had a little bit more of a resume than, say, a Millard Fillmore. So Millard Fillmore's site compared to William McKinley's site is not exactly the same. But this is it. You got like a Washington Monument type obelisk, the American flag. I mean, he is, look, as much as I knock Millard Fillmore, in our history as a nation, we have 46 now presidents. He is one of those people. There's a lot of presidential wives named Abigail. Abigail Powers. It's weird that she went under her maiden name, or at least interred under her maiden name, because she died well before Millard Fillmore did. She died in 1853. He died in 1874. But you can see that's the original, and I believe that's the original gravestone there. You can kind of see the wear that, wow, almost 150, 170 plus years have put on that. But yeah, that's, I'm going to guess this is newer. I'm going to guess maybe this one here is newer, because it doesn't look like that. And it doesn't look like, my guess is that the children's graves maybe? Like their children perhaps? Yeah, it looks like it's, yeah. My guess is they open it maybe for like special occasions or tributes or something like that. But, in this cemetery here, lies a former American president, Millard Fillmore. But yeah, that is it. And that's, I'm fascinated by different presidential burial sites to kind of see what they do. Some of the more recent ones have been buried at their like own presidential libraries and birth sites. But Millard and even William McKinley and a few others are just buried in standard cemetery. Some type of, special marker, I guess you could say, because that is American history as one of the presidents of the United States. But definitely not what I would say is one of the more notable presidents of the United States. Sorry, Millard. But yeah, that gravestone right there, my guess is the one that was actually put there in 1838, or maybe it was after. I know gravesites tend to take longer, but then there's an actual like more modern one for Abigail, but that looks like, so wait a minute. No, I'll be honest, I never want to truly like reach in down deep and check subject matter, but Abigail is the widow of Jonathan Strong and formerly the wife of Reverend Lemuel Powers in Stillwater, New York, who died in 1800. She was born in February 22nd, 1758, and died February 21st, 1838. Oh, wait a minute. So there's Abigail Powers, wife of Millard Fillmore, and died in 1853, placed by the Abigail Fillmore chapter. And then this is another Abigail, but the dates are different. It's 1838. All right, now I'm confused. Now I have to look things up. I'm confused myself. Presented by Abigail Fillmore chapter, NSDAR 1982. There's the flag. So the flag wasn't here before 1982, but my guess is the barrier maybe was around. And I wonder if that Abigail was the daughter of them, because they're in the little complex here. But yeah, that is the, wait a minute. Oh no, that's tough to read. But did Millard have a second wife? I'm trying to see what that says there. Another wife of Millard Fillmore with a different date, different name. Oh, Millard was, see, I thought maybe Abigail, that one over there, was Abigail was married before, then her husband died, then was married again to Millard, but that's not the case here. And the children's grave sites, Millard Powers Fillmore, I can see that one a bit better. April 1828 to November 15th, 1889, and then this one 1832 to 1854. That's young. But it's always been, you know, kind of maybe a bucket list goal. And it's a strange bucket list goal, I acknowledge, to kind of see every presidential burial site, just to be like, okay, this, this person was in office, held the highest office in the land, just for a historical perspective. But chalk another one off the list. The 13th president of the United States, Millard Fillmore, is here at Forest Lawn, Buffalo, New York. Well, that'll wrap it up. From Forest Lawn Cemetery in Buffalo, New York, I wish I could have just, kind of walked around a bit more, but I do have to make my way back to Pittsburgh. But, just wanted to show kind of some of the famous grave sites of people that are here. I did not get to every one. I only got to really the more notable ones. But I know there are more than that, and there are more stories to be told. But I wanted to stop by. I thought the weather was going to be bad. I was hoping to get to, Niagara Falls again for Cave of the Winds, and that did not happen. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, there's a link in the description below. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt, you can do so at Spreadshirt Shop, as well as links to my eBay store, new Facebook page, Instagram, and Clubhouse. But that'll wrap it up. From Forest Lawn Cemetery, Buffalo, New York, my name is Tom, and I was here. Thanks for watching, like, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.